we had promised an interview and a Q&A, but there's too many people here, so we want to just run through a couple quick questions to Jim, just so we can get right to the good part, and where everyone can come and meet Jim and ask them maybe their personal questions. But Jim, so your first time traveling abroad in Europe, how do you feel?
I'm tired.
Anything you've been able to see, or anything you scratched off your to-do list, or is this more just like terrifying to you?
Oh no, it's just all new and strange. I'm very much a person who this is an adventure, and I look at adventure much as Bilbo does. It's the kind of thing that makes you late for dinner or your next deadline. But it's been really interesting. It's been a lot of fun. I got to meet a bunch of people and eat a bunch of odd food, which is also that's terrifying. New things. Oh my gosh, I'm so afraid of change.
And I guess one question I really wanted to ask you is, can you tell us something about your new series, or something about your upcoming series, your steampunk series?
The new series is a steampunk series. I wanted to call it a steam opera, but my editor told me, no, Jim, you're not allowed to make up brand new genres. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It could be a steampunk, but it'll be coming out this fall. It's called The Cinder Spires. The first book is called The Aeronauts Windlass. The setting is a world where the surface of the world is a very dangerous place to live, and so most of humanity lives in these enormous, nearly indestructible black towers called the spires. All trade and travel and commerce and diplomacy is accomplished by airship between the spires. And two of the more powerful ones are beginning to position themselves to go to war with each other. And the monarch of one of the spires, the Spirearch, has decided that he needs to assemble a mission team to get jobs done for him in order to get his spire positioned as advantageously as possible. So the story is kind of I like to say it's X-Men meets Hornblower, but that doesn't sound very That doesn't sound very steampunky. So now I say it's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen meets Hornblower. And I would like to tell you that you will like it because there's good characters that I really enjoyed making, or that you'll like it because it's really tightly paced, because even though I'm writing something that is a little bit more like Codex Alera, I tried to pace it like a Dresden Files book and kind of compress all the action into kind of a small area. And I would like to tell you that you'd think it was a cool story world, but really what's going to sell the books is there are talking cats. And the cats, they don't speak human languages, of course. They speak cat. They understand human languages, except when they don't. But they sort of exist alongside humanity. They don't like to mix too much with humanity, because humans keep trying to feed kittens, and then kittens, become dependent on humans and don't learn to kill things for themselves, and that's bad. And humans kind of have to get along with them, though, because they have opposable thumbs. And matches. So the cats wind up being kind of like the little fuzzy mafia, I notice your warehouse is rodent-free. Perhaps you would like it to continue to be rodent-free. Perhaps there will be cream waiting every Thursday at 3 p.m. But one of the cats has a pet human. And so the Spirearch recruits her to be part of his team, because somebody who can understand cats and who knows how to approach them and talk to them is very handy, because cats see and hear everything, and they get everywhere, and they're completely silent, and so they're a fantastic source of information. Another one of the members of the team is a down-on-his-luck privateer captain, who was successful enough at his privateering that the enemy spires actually sent a battle cruiser out to kill him, and he managed to survive and get away and come home. But his ship's all busted up, and though he doesn't really care for the Spirearch at all, the Spirearch is willing to fix his ship, and he can't say no to that. There's basically a princess of the Spire, the daughter of the most powerful house there. One of the warrior-born, about 3% of the population in this world is born slightly different than the rest of humanity, with a much higher metabolism and much stronger and much faster. And if you get in a fight and your side has warrior born and their side doesn't, you win. So you've got to have a warrior born along so that another one doesn't come trump you. There's an etherealist, which is there's crystal technology that does a lot of the airship stuff, along with the more primitive steam technology, and there's etheric engineers that run all the machines that are based on the crystal technology, and then there's etherealists who sort of do everything that engineers do, only without that troublesome machine part in the middle. You know, they just sort of get to it at the end, but as a result, they're a little bit off. An etherealist who's like walking around and bumping into walls and talking to people who aren't there, he's probably safe. He's probably okay. It's the etherealist that's looking at you calmly and inviting you to tea that you have to worry about. There's something definitely deeply wrong with that one. So you definitely want the guy who's a little bit weird on your team, and not the calm one. But I had a great time writing it. I had a stronger response from my beta readers for this book than I have for anything else I've done. It was the longest book I've ever written. It checks in at almost 200,000 words, so it's a nice big thick read. So we'll see how it goes. I'm so sick of it now because I've been editing it over and over for the past several weeks. But eventually, then the characters will be like, "Jim, we have to do another story." I'll be like, "Shut up! I'm trying to write Harry Dresden." But anyway, so that'll be out late September, early October.
Cool. I think a lot of us are really excited to read that then. What, if any, tease can you give us for Peace Talks?
Peace Talks is... hush you. Peace Talks is all about... the various signatories of the Unseelie Accords are having a convocation in Chicago to try and work out a way to settle down all the discord that's been happening due to the Fomor seizing power in the vacuum left behind by the Red Court. So I believe what's going to happen is they're all going to get together. They'll have a nice dinner. They'll hash things out and then have a couple of beers and sing some songs, and everything will be fine. Because I want to surprise everybody, so I mean everybody's just looking for it to explode and so on. But this book is only set a couple of months after the end of the previous one, so Murphy is still undergoing surgeries and so on to get fixed, because when you get hurt like that, it takes a long time to get better. When you're not some kind of superhuman. I work for Queen Mab. Living punching bag. Let's see. We'll get to see we'll get to see more of Harry and Maggie. Mouse will be in this one. We'll get to see the White Council getting involved with things again. So we'll have them on stage, and I'm gonna get to do a bunch of fights I've been longing to write since I first started the series. So that's gonna be fun, and we will have a good time with that book as well as soon as it's written. Which I have to stop doing things like going to Sweden and stay home and write books. It's a good thing. I'm kind of a hobbit at heart because, bad things can happen to you when you go on adventures. There can be trolls and dragons and things like that. If you stay home on the couch, that's not going to happen. And earlier I'd said that, and Kitty said, "Yeah, but if you stay home on the couch, nothing good happens either." And I'm like, "Speak for yourself. I got a series to do." That's important stuff to me. But anyway, so there's also I've got to do a few more Dresden short stories. Let's see. I'm going to have to do Harry Dresden Does Jury Duty. And I got to assume that the lawyers ran out of people they could strike, and that Harry was left. I got called to jury duty myself, and I had a book due, so I really hated wasting the time. So I'm sitting here like this the entire time, and the lawyer takes one look at me and goes, "No," like that. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Judgmental long hair. You don't know which way that guy's going to break, But let's see. We'll do the story of Molly's first job as the Winter Lady, and you'll actually get to see what her job is, what the Winter Lady's supposed to do, and what Maeve was not doing. Molly's got like 150 years of backlog to clear, before she can even catch up. let's see. I think I'm going to be writing I'm finally going to write the Hawaii story where Murphy and Kincaid go to Hawaii. And there's there's volcanoes and shark gods and everything, so that'll be fun. And let's see what else. I'm going to be sometime probably next year. I'm going to be writing a series, at least a few books that are going to be young adult books when Maggie Dresden goes to school. Maggie is I mean and she's going to St. Mark's Academy for the Gifted and Talented, which has been mentioned in some of the short stories. Dresden walks in and says, "It's too bad you're not St. Mark's Academy for the Resourceful and Talented, because then you'd be smart. And as it is, you're just smagged." So that's the school where all the scions, the offspring of the supernatural beings who live around Chicago, that's where they go to class, because it's been declared neutral territory, and the law is that the kids have to sort out their own problems. So Maggie's going to be winding up going there. She's got terrible social anxiety issues because she's had some trauma. So that's what unless when she has Mouse along, the Mouse is kind of her people person. He's the face man. Unless of course things are in fire and people are bleeding and screaming, at which point she's completely normal because she's Harry Dresden's daughter. So, but that'll be really fun to write, and we're gonna aim that at I think at middle school. So we'll see how that works out.
Cool.
But okay, so that's my work for the near future. So now you guys know what I'm doing. I'll be on my couch. Should we get some books signed?
Absolutely.
All right,
we
let's
won't
do
keep
it.
anyone waiting any longer.